Okay, so here's the plan for today. Yesterday just took everything out of me. Even though Garmin only shows, 82 miles, I actually did 85. And that 85 miles just wore me out. 9 hours, at least half of it was in very strong heat, and a couple of those hours was in really intense heat. And just to put the cherry on the top, the last 3.3 miles was not only on a dirt road, it was on like a fluffy sand road. It was, of the 2,000 miles I've ridden so far, that was the worst road I've ever been on. Most of the time I had to kind of push it through. Think of it as you're at the beach and you're in the fluffy part that the water hasn't hit. And you're just trying to push through the bike. Now, it's not the super fluffy part, but my narrow tires just weren't holding on it. It was pretty rough. But vehicles drive on it with no problem because they're just so wide. You know, their tires are wide, so they can kind of handle it. But I got through that and I was absolutely exhausted. In fact, when I got to Medicine Lodge, which was, what was it? Medicine Lodge was around 75 miles. I hit the convenience store there, and that's where I loaded up for groceries. I drank about 60 ounces of Gatorade and just sat in there. And for the first time, from a heat exhaustion perspective, that was the first time I really had trouble. And I just had to really kind of gut up for the last 12 miles. It was over 10 miles. It was really tough. And then my rebound last night didn't rebound as quickly. So I was talking to the owner here, and she offers breakfast at 8 o'clock. So normally as you guys know, I'm on the road around 6:15. So I decided I got to make this a short day. I've got to give myself a little bit more time. I got to be careful because, you know, it's all hot up here. And I can't do 2 of those days back to back. My body's going to kind of, it's not going to be happy. That's for sure. So I'm going to have 8 o'clock breakfast. I'm going to enjoy myself. This is a great place to kind of enjoy yourself. And then they're kind enough to give me a ride down to pavement. So I don't have to go through the worst road I've ever been on in my life, the 3.3 miles. Plus, it's not good for the chain or the gears, all of that sand. And then off to Pratt, Kansas, which is really only about 30 miles away, maybe 25 miles away. So I'm only talking about maybe 2.5 hours, 3 hours on the bike. I need that just to kind of recoup and kind of regenerate myself. And then it's off to the great Trans-American Bike Path, which is what I've really been dying to get on, because I think that the roads are going to be really amenable to the bicyclist. So we'll see.
So I need to go over and get those today. Get out of the way, little boys.
Wow.
Those are
Beautiful
all,
looking cows.
now this is all open range right here. Cows have the right of way.
That's for sure.
At the dam.
For those semis, you can really feel smack of their wash sometimes, especially the semis that have a tall, long trailer that they're pulling. The ones that are coming with you, oftentimes they can give you a little bit of a lift where they'll push you a little bit, almost push you to a point where you can shift up into the next gear. But you know what? The ones that come up from behind are the scariest. I don't need the push. It's windy, but you'll notice you don't hear a lot of wind noise. And that's because most of the time the wind's at my back and it's giving me a nice little push. so I can go faster without having all of that wind in me. The trade-off, of course, is that sometimes I don't get the value of the wind keeping me cool because it puts it almost at a neutral, like right now. You know, it's interesting, whenever I'm talking to people, invariably they always want to tell me about how dangerous the roads are, and then they launch into stories about how other cyclists they know have been killed. That stuff's interesting, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, do I really want to know about that? I mean, I'm not changing my mind, I'm still going through. Therefore, I'm already being as uber safe as I can. All that's going to do is give me the jitters. Hearing more stories about how motorists have killed other cyclists on these specific roads. The very first place I stayed, the Airbnb, he told me the story. Actually, I rode by a picture of a cyclist on the side of the road as a memorial. And then when I get there, he tells me what happened. This was like 15 years ago. And apparently he was an advanced cyclist, someone who was known for being a competitive cyclist. And the person that killed him was someone who, I take it, was either near blind or extreme colorblind or something. And this guy was driving mostly on the shoulder, thinking he's being safe. And he drove only back and forth to work. He had impaired vision, basically. And he hit the guy with his rearview mirror and killed him. And his vision was so impaired, he didn't even know he hit somebody. He thought he hit a mailbox. What in the world is this? It's a little town, and it does not look like it's thriving. I wonder, Kansas, if that's going to be your roadkill calling card. Coyote. I don't see any more raccoons, that's for sure. I haven't seen a possum in a very long time. Another coyote.